Today's morning coffee vinyl side, The Rhythm Pals, Canadian Town and Country Songs, 1967. When Canada celebrated its centennial in 1967, the 100-year-old country was awash with a burgeoning sense of patriotism. A Centennial Commission had been convened in 1963 to plan and coordinate the various events and activities that would transpire over the course of a year-long celebration, and as that year drew closer, many other bodies and groups planned special commemorative events as well. The CBC even commissioned Gordon Lightfoot to write a song, Canadian Railroad Trilogy, released for broadcast January 1st, 1967. The Rhythm Pals were an early Canadian power trio, founded in British Columbia's New Westminster in 1946. Comprised of Accordionist Wald, bassist Mike Ferbey, and guitarist Jack Jensen, all three men could sing, and all were exceptional musicians. Very much in the vein of the Sons of the Pioneers, they were a country western and western swing vocal group with an emphasis on smooth harmony vocals. Early success came on radio. CKNW DJ Bill Ray of Bill Ray's Roundup, an early champion of the group. They'd also appear on CBC Radio's Burns Chuckwagon and other small market regional stations around the province, their recorded sound lending itself very well to AM broadcast. But the truth was, and as a British Columbian and longtime Vancouver resident imbued with my own sense of regional competitiveness, it pains me to admit this. BC and Vancouver just was too small and immature a market for the band, so they made the decision in the late 50s to go east to Toronto to pursue more opportunity, which also strikes me as a little funny. I thought cowboys were always supposed to go west. Now, the big attraction in Toronto, beyond the population being larger, was television. BC just didn't have enough television or television infrastructure in the way Toronto did, and it was obvious that TV was going to be the way of the future. On arrival, the band would quickly level up and find themselves as series regulars on the Tommy Hunter Show, the Canadian television variety show where musical careers were made and sustained, and the hosts of their own radio program. Over the next 10 years, the Rhythm Pals would establish themselves as Canada's preeminent country music band. This album, Canadian Town and Country Songs, was released as the Rhythm Pals' contribution to the Canadian Centennial. It's very polished and professional, though the stereo mix is a bit out of balance, and pleasantly soothing in the way Western swing always is. The band would go on to win what became a Juno Award as Best Country and Western Group that year, basically the Canadian version of a Grammy. And as an original trio, they were still looking at another 20 years together before Wald would retire in 1987. But there are two things I find very curious here. Number one, there's nothing Canadian about this album in terms of songs or themes. It's almost as if the title was tacked on just to take advantage of the Centennial. I wouldn't put that past the record label. And number two, my maternal grandfather, who we've talked about a lot on Morning Coffee Vinyl Side, did not own a single record of theirs. Now I've got to think there's something there in that exclusion from his collection, something in his perception of the group or even one of its members that he didn't like. If we bump into these guys again, I think I'll unpack that because I have some idea, and it involves baseball, hopes, dreams, and the weight of responsibility. But that's a story for another time.